Good evening, Your Excellencies, Royal Highnesses, Tochi, David, the Wigwe family represented by Herbert siblings, and the Wuba family, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. I am emotionally drained, so I'm not going to try to do anything that requires my emotional reservoir because I'm not too sure there's much for me to draw on. But then, at times like this, when Herbert comes to the microphone without a speech, he makes you laugh, right? Tochi, he makes you smile, right? And I'm going to start like this. When I came back, the day after the accident, I flew straight back. And I saw Tochi, I saw David, I saw Hannah, Okachi. And then I went, of course, to the Wigwe family home. It's very emotional, very draining. And you know, there was people wanted to connect so much with Tochi. Everybody wanted to touch and draw and talk to Tochi at that time. And in the heat of the moment, I sent Tochi a message. I said, Tochi, where are you? And she could tell from my message that there was urgency and there was a demand in it. And my Tochi didn't respond. So then I stepped back and I said, I know what I'll do. Then I sent her another message. And in it, I called her something her father calls her. And then I said, Tochi, please call me. 5 minutes later, brap, Tochi calls. I'm not going to mention it because Tochi is the most eligible woman in the world right now. And I know you all want to hear what to say when you send her the text message. And you know, one of Herbert's proudest days, and he told me, was when with all his planning about education, where the children should go, and all of that, one day, not in his script, not planned at all, not part of the coaching, the teaching, the extra lessons, and Herbert doing all the work. One young girl came to him and said, Daddy, I've gotten admission for an MSc at Imperial College in London, Tochi. And that day he realized that true, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. And I've spoken about the strength demonstrated by his wonderful children and the power from his dad, his mom, and his siblings. And if I talk about Chizoba for a minute, my wife came on stage and she spoke about the unity in their friendship. She didn't confess that it was a unity born out of hardship as being spouses to Herbert and I. It's not. Chizoba would speak to the misfortune that they had this habit of finding very lovely apartments that happened to be on the same street as the hottest club in town. And Aig-Imoukhuedu would visit, and he says, why does this your friend always come at 11 p.m.? Why does he not come during? Because when we finish the visit, now I say, Herbert, escort me out now. And me and Herbert will be out because, of course, we had to spend some time at his neighbors. I remember also that there was another nightclub Herbert and I used to go to, whose misfortune was that Ofowey's mother was the landlord. And after they heard the stories of how Herbert and I would visit, the club had to close when it was time for renewing the rent because Ofowey's mother refused outright. And I think that Chizoba and Ofowey had something to do with that. And you know, I watched Herbert's spiritual life develop. And Herbert came to know God, to fear God, and to love God intensely. On my 40th birthday, people saw something that they didn't know. And there was a music ministry. And Herbert and I were listening to this song. And then our friends at the party saw me lie down and roll. I don't know if you know what that means, but saw Herbert lie down and roll. And then Ambassador dove to the floor and was rolling. Afterwards, they said, Ambassador, what was that you were doing? Say, I don't know, my boys do my story. And then Herbert began to minister. And I remember the first time that he was going to deliver a message. And he chose to deliver a message on Job. And given the seriousness with which Herbert takes his tasks, he commenced his scriptural research. And he called me, and I said, look, don't attempt to do any quadratic equations to determine Job's losses. Just give it your all spiritually. And I got feedback of what happened that day when Herbert delivered this message. Lives were won. His father, Pastor Shingu Wigwe, was so proud. And somehow, I think that was part of the unfinished business. But maybe Tochi, maybe David, maybe Hannah, maybe Okachi. We'll see. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, when generals, they may also be presidents, but generals who have excelled in service to their country fall, they find a special place to bury them, whether in the US, in Europe, and even, I believe, here in Nigeria. At least they used to. And pomp, ceremony characterizes the expression of loss that a nation and perhaps an entire continent could feel with the loss of a great general. Nigeria, Africa, has lost one of his finest generals. Some have described him and compared him to even Alexander today. When generals are buried, their children sit down, whilst those who are there show their appreciation for the fallen general. Let us rise up in unison and begin to send a clear message of appreciation to this general. Whenever you're tired, you can stop clapping. But let's start.